Thanks for staying on News Today. Two streams of the Tamale School of Hygiene, two streams of students rather, of the Tamale School of Hygiene have hit the streets of Tamale in protest of government's inability to absolve them 2 years after their graduation. They had to petition the president through the regional minister. Mohammed Hashmin is Joynews' Northern Regional Correspondent. He's joined us over the telephone. Hello, Hashmin.
Yeah, hello.
What more can you tell us about this demonstration?
Well, the students, according to them, they stated in their petition that they have petitioned the presidency on several occasions, and they have also done same to Parliament, and nothing is being done about their plight, and hence the decision to hit the streets of Tamale today. And it is not only the students of the Tamale School of Hygiene. We are also being told that they were also joined by students of whole School of Hygiene, and these two institutions came together and they hit the streets of Tamale. The unposted trainees say since 2011, when they graduated from school, government is yet to absorb them. They said they have, like I told you, they have petitioned the presidency and then Parliament. They have also been saying that the government is not giving the required attention that the hygiene schools in the country needs, unlike their counterparts in other health training institutions. Government is giving them the required attention, but when it comes to them, that attention is not being given. And they are saying that if government think that their training or their services is not needed, then it is important that government close down the schools of hygiene throughout the country and then refund their school fees for them to be able to know what they can do next.
Today, too, we understand they are to deliver another petition to the president through the regional minister. Has that been done?
Well, that has been done just a short while ago. And the regional minister Bitsiden assured the students that he was going to forward the petition to the Minister of Health. Earlier on, there was some disagreement as to whether he is the rightful person to receive their petition, because he said they could have done that through the regional directorate of the health services so that they can forward it to the Minister of Health. And a disagreement ensued between the students and the regional minister. The students are saying that it appears the government is not giving them the required attention.
Right.
They also do not want government to, always government forward their frustrations to the local assemblies.
The regional minister took the petition all the same.
Yes, he took the petition.
Right. We'll leave it here for now, Mohammed. Mohammed Hashmin is Joynews' Northern Regional Correspondent. We are putting in efforts to raise the Ministry of Health and local government over the telephone. When we do that, we'll bring back the story and talk about it for a while. Let's move on, but stay in the Northern region, where 35-year-old manager of Peace Guest House and one manager of O&A Transport, Martin Adonye, has won the Kalio Nadoli West constituency chairmanship position of the New Patriotic Party held at Kalio on Saturday. He polled 251 of the 522 votes cast, thereby beating two other contestants for the position. Here's a report from Kalio by Rafiq Salah.
522 delegates formed the Electoral College from 92 polling stations in the Kalio Nadoli constituency. Incumbent chairman Pastor Na Jato refused to contest for the second time for the chairmanship position of the party due to reasons best known to him, thereby opening the floodgates for three new contestants. The three are Martin Anodonye, Samuel Banye, and Bruno Dadime. They joined 20 others who filed to contest for the 8 other executive positions. After almost 7 hours of voting and counting, 35-year-old manager of Peace Guest House, who also doubles as WA manager of ONA Transport, Martin Adonye, won the day. He polled 251 of the 522 votes cast. His closest challenger was Bruno Dademe, who had 129, with Samuel Banye placing third with a distant 98 votes. Other winners include Clothilda Donkurung, Chile Na Blaze, Adama Amadou, Ali Gado, and Dabie Osbet Salifu. Chairman-elect Martin Adonye promised to work in tandem with the polling station executive to bring victory to the party in the next general election. Rafik Salam's report from Khalil.
President John Mahama says Ghanaians seem oblivious about the strides his government has made, especially in the area of electricity. He said although many incidences such as fires which gutted major markets earlier this year, coupled with energy crisis and strikes, nobody seems to talk about the improvements made so far. He was speaking over the weekend at Revival Restoration Center and Assemblies of God Church at Northridge when he was invited to commission a new church edifice.
We have had a challenging year, that's true. We had market fires. I'm sure most of you are forgetting about the market fires. We had energy crisis, which was popularly called Dumso, and I was appropriately labeled the apostle of Dumso. And Ghanaians, in their usual humor, crafted a very interesting greeting that said, "Yamamu Dumso," then you say, "Ya Mahama." And I told them, I said, I'm working on the energy crisis and we will solve it. And I said, when we solve it, remember to greet Yamamu Kaniao, then you say, Ya Mahama. But often in Ghana, we have a very short memory. The energy crisis is solved. We don't remember the darkness we were in. And so we've put that behind us and we're looking at what the other challenges are. But I want to use this opportunity to thank all Ghanaians for the cooperation we've had in a very challenging year. We've had strikes, we've had problems with the economy, the deficit, and above all, we had an election petition for almost 8 months of the year. The economy slowed because everybody was focused on what was happening in the Supreme Court. But God, in His faithfulness to us, has seen us through all this. And as a country, we must always remember to give thanks to Him.
Policy analyst Mohammed Atik thinks President Mahama himself must show perseverance and dedication to the mandate Ghanaians have given his administration. This follows comments by President John Dramani Mahama describing Ghanaians as cynics and needed to persevere, be dedicated, and have an all-hands-on-deck attitude.
You are a leader and you possess all the fine individual virtues that you just spoke about, and you lack the virtues that will make the difference, then it means you lack leadership qualities. There's a difference between having, I can be, and I am, an honest person, but maybe in leadership there is a difference. I may not be too honest as a leader, but as an individual I can be honest. And my dishonesty may stem from the fact that I may not be able to tell my subordinates the truth when there is a need. So to that extent, I may be, like in all my undertakings, I may be very honest. But when it comes to telling my subordinates the truth, the hard truths for that matter, I am unable to do so. That, does not show that I am really an honest person in relation to leadership. But the most important point for me is, when we talk about perseverance, the president, like I keep saying, there is the need for the president to show by example that indeed he's dedicated to the virtues you just spoke about. The issue of perseverance. The fight against corruption is one that requires a great deal of perseverance, because in doing so you'd hurt even people within, and sometimes people very close to you would be hurt in the process if you indeed want to fight corruption. But the president, I've not seen that perseverance coming from the president. In fact, almost on a weekly basis there is one scandal relating to corruption or the other. The president has not shown us that indeed personally and at the leadership level he's persevering. If you don't show that commitment, it gets to a point you create a gap between you and the public. They tend to feel that the president no longer cares about our interests. We all need to support the president, but he has a bigger job, which is to ensure that he does that which he wants us to do. And for me, if you do that, your minister will not have the confidence. If he sees that you are fighting corruption vigorously, no minister will have the incentive to want to engage himself or herself in corruption.
This is News Today. I'll be right back. You're welcome back. The multi-million-dollar BRE Hydropower project in the Banda district in the Bunahafo region has been completed. President John Mahama will on December 19, 2013, officially inaugurate the BRE generating station. The BRE Dam project is expected to produce 400 megawatts of power. The Sino Hydro Corporation Limited of China, the contractor, is scheduled to hand it over to the government on the day of the inauguration. Former President John Kufuor on August 24, 2007, performed the sword-cutting ceremony for the commencement of work on the BRE hydroelectric power project, but actual work started in 2008. The project was funded with a concessionary loan of $263.5 million and a buyer's credit of $298.5 million from China and Exim Bank, respectively, while the government contributed $60 million. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission has hinted of an increase in electricity and water tariffs from January 1, 2014 as the automatic adjustment formula for review of tariffs kick in. The AAF is a pricing mechanism that tracks and incorporates movements in key uncontrollable variables to reflect the actual cost of electricity and water supply. Stakeholders, including labor, employers and industry, have all called for the implementation of the AAF to avoid huge hikes in tariff levels during major tariff reviews. The key parameters include the Ghana Consumer Price Index, the Ghana CD dollar exchange rate, generation mix, fuel mix, power purchase cost and demand forecast variations, among others. Traders at the Takoradi Market Circle and residents who patronize stands the risk of contracting an infection as a result of unhygienic environment in which the traders ply their trade. Western Regional Correspondent William Benjamin Peters visited the market and has filed this report.
It was a rather worrying sight to behold during the time of our visit to the famous market cycle, which seemed to be gradually becoming a safe haven for rubbish. Even in the broad daylight, refuse had taken over a portion of the market and had even extended to a portion of the main road. Unfortunately, there were bricks business activities going on, with the traders selling their wares from plantain, yam, tomatoes, among other foodstuffs. People were also patronizing the items, perhaps influenced by the Yuletide having less concern for the environment in which these women were operating. The women were seen sitting right in the refuse selling, and some of them started raining insults on this reporter upon seeing the camera. Others jokingly said they are happy with the environment in which they find themselves. Despite the presence of 2 rubbish containers, the rubbish was rather on the floor instead of being in the containers, which were half full. The news team gathered that the bins belonged to Zoom Lion and the 2nd D Takoradi Metro Assembly respectively. Instead of finding an antidote to the appalling situation, The traders were rather shifting blames on Zoomlion for their irregular collecting of the containers, which they believe had resulted to the situation. One of the traders shared her sentiments, thereby advocating for the possible relocating of the bins. Meanwhile, a visit to the Western Regional Office of Zoomlion received a different reaction as the regional manager for Zoomlion, Stephen Jechi Dakon, also blamed the traders for the situation. According to him, both rubbish generated from trading activities as well as rubbish from individual households has resulted in the situation, adding the traders prefer throwing the rubbish on the floor instead of the bins. He, however, debunked the claims of irregular collecting of the rubbish bins and rather called for a change in attitude on the part of the traders, whilst pledging they would do their best in managing the situation.
As a service provider and as a corporate responsibility, and their also own health, as they sit closer to refuse, and if it is not collected immediately, and it takes about a day or 2 or 3, you know, when it rains, decomposition go faster, and as soon as the refuse start decomposing, methane gas are emitted, and when methane gas are emitted, they should know the consequences of their actions. And therefore, we are always advising them that if there are containers there and the containers are not full, they should do well to put the refuse into the container. And when that thing is done, we will do well to make sure that sanitation at the marketplace improves.
There's more news ahead. Please stay. You're all come back. Let's do some sports now. We'll start off with results from the Ghana Premier League. Here's the table. Liberty Professionals won its game against Hearts of Lion 1-0. Ashanti Gold and Brekum drew goalless, and King Faisal won its game against Bechem United 2-1. Amidao's Professional lost 3 to Hasaka's Dwarfs, and Asante Kotoko drew 2-2. Ediana Stars goalless draw between itself and Edubiase FC, while All Stars won its game 3-0 against Hearts of Folk, and Midiama SC lost its game 0-1 against Inter Allies. And this is the standings on the Premier League table as well. Kotoko is top with 34 points. Ash Gold 27 points. Hearts of Folk also with 27 points. But the goal difference 6 and 4 between itself and Ash Gold. Hearts of Lions also follows with 24 points. Asakas with 22 points. Midiama SC 22 points. Liberty Professionals with 20. King Faisal with 19 points. Ediana Stars with 19 points as well. Wild Stars with 18 points, Bechem United with 18, Edubiase also with 18. Then there are 17 for Amidao's Professionals, as well as Brekum Chelsea, followed by Dwarfs with 16 points, 12 points for Inter Allies at the bottom of the table. That's it for sports, brought to you by Tigo. You're welcome back. Elsewhere, South Sudan's President Salva Kiir says an attempted coup by disgruntled soldiers has been put down. It comes after heavy gunfire overnight in the capital, Juba, reportedly between rival factions of the Presidential Guard. Kiir told reporters in the capital that the government was in full control and announced a nighttime curfew. The UN has expressed concern and appealed for calm. It said it was in touch with the government. Hilt Johnson, the special representative in the country, says she was deeply concerned and urged all parties in the fighting to cease hostilities immediately and exercise restraint. Over the telephone now is international news analyst Irbad Ibrahim. I will talk about South Sudan now. Hello, Robert.
Hello, Kemeni. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too. How are you?
I'm fine.
And South Sudan gained independence barely 3 years ago, and we look at the security challenges now. Now an attempted coup. What should we make of this?
It's a bit disappointing that when dark-skinned Africans call for equity and equality, especially in areas where they are dominated by Arabs, and they are given the opportunity to rule themselves. Every time it seems power struggles ensue all the time, and then they get bloodier with the passing days. I'm a bit disappointed because we were part of those who were clamoring for independence for the dark-skinned Sudanese people, especially when what happened with the people of Darfur is so clear in our conscience, and what the Janjaweed forces did to our black brethren over there. But in 2011, after so much pressure came from the quarters of the United Nations, they were given the opportunity to secede from the rest of the Republic of Sudan. And along with them, they went with 3/4 of the oil reserves of the Republic of Sudan. So what could have been the cause of this thing? The failed attack, we are told, was from the handiwork of the sacked deputy to Salva Kiir, Riek Machar. So I think it's a power struggle. The former deputy in July indicated that he has an intention of contesting the elections in 2015. And some ethnic undertones also run through the current struggle. You see, the current president, Salva Kiir, belongs to the Dinka tribe, and the Dinka tribe make up a majority of the South Sudanese population. And the other guy is from the Nuer ethnic group as well. So perhaps we are looking at an ethnic showdown between these two people. It's a bit sad, and if calm is able to be restored, I think it will be in the larger good of the people of Sudan, South Sudan.
UN Country Representative Hill Johnson for South Sudan has said she's deeply worried about the situation there. If we want to nip this in the bud, how should this be done?
Meetings take place in most fledgling countries. The youngest country on the United Nations Charter now is South Sudan. And therefore, they need time to be able to fine-tune the current status they have attained as a free country, separate from the dominance of the Arabs in the north. And therefore, it should be of great concern to the international community that things seem to be flaring up. I don't think that what is happening could spiral out of control the way we saw what happened in the case of the Central African Republic. The international community has revised its notes, it has learned its lessons, and the earlier you are able to intervene in any conflict, the better it is to save lives. So it's good that a strong-worded statement is coming from the United Nations. And if the right thing is not done, it's good a curfew has been imposed from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And therefore, we are monitoring the situation. If within the next 48 hours or so, calm is not restored, there is an assurance from the incumbent government that they've been able to fall the meeting. But as to the whereabouts of the mutineers, we are yet to find out. We are yet to find out the scale of the damage that was caused in the fight overnight. But, Kemeni, I believe that nerves should calm down. I don't think this is a serious challenge that will pose any security challenge to the continent.
Thank you very much, Elbad. Elbad Ibrahim is an international news analyst. We'll do some. Just before we get into showbiz, the ministerial appraisal will begin Tuesday at the Flagstaff House. Briefing the press corps, Deputy Information Minister Mutala Mohammed said this is to assess the extent to which sector ministers have achieved targets set for them. Well, I'll bring you those details later. Let's check out showbiz now. One of Accra's most vibrant arts and music festival, Indie Fuse, has ended in Accra. A 3-day festival this year included a workshop on music distribution and publishing for persons interested in the music business. Indie Fuse Festival wrapped up with a concert at the Alliance Française in Accra, which featured some mainstream musicians as well as budding alternative musicians. Here are highlights from the concert.
Yeah, mama was right. Listen to your heart, she would say every night. When I used to dream of being me, taking my music that rescued me in my nightmare. I do this for the music that lead la la lay, that makes you wanna boogie the highs and the lows. Say do re mi ti do. So somebody really did me wrong, right? And that shame me on. And I'm because I'm the best you. So this one I said, baby, I'm not your honey, baby. Memories that started and baby, you broke my heart, oh baby, never again. Ask me if I was able to do it. Trying to get away, yeah. So I call living no be easy. Times up, weekend folks are busy. Trying to get that money, trying to get that honey. That's all we do. Trying not be easy, but sometimes you gotta go somewhere to cool your head, breeze in the air. Sun so clear, no worries, daughter, you there.
On I'm daddy, Eba, on Shempaboa, Eba, on I'm daddy, Eba, on Shempaboa, get it, on I'm daddy, Eba, on Shempaboa, get it, on I'm daddy, Eba, on Shempaboa, ah. On I'm daddy, Eba, on Shempaboa, baby, on I'm daddy, Eba, on Shempaboa, what you gonna do? On I'm daddy, Eba, on Shempaboa, baby, on I'm daddy, Eba, on Shempaboa.
They listen. They need me to give a token before they call me Christian. They need me to rhyme before I can be a poet. They need me to be in Sublime before I can make the budget. They need me to spit metaphors before I can be a rapper. They need me to be on all fours before they can come. They need me to be at ease before they can call me dapper. They need me to have a penis before I can come. They need me to be animated before I can be a good performer. When in their diction, they never even heard of the word proforma. Jesus is coming.
This is News Today, our main news again. 2 streams of former students of the Delali School of Hygiene hit the streets of Tamale in protest of government's inability to absorb them 2 years after their graduation. Public Utilities Regulatory Commission hints of an increase in electricity and water tariffs from January 1, 2014. South Sudan's president says an attempted coup by disgruntled soldiers has been put down. That'll be all for the hour. My name is Kimini Nyamani. I'm another small news on myjoyonline.com. Goodbye for now and enjoy the rest of our programs.